We're going to switch gears right now. We're going to look at each of our participants and have a little bit for you as an individual. I'm going to introduce Dr. Laurie Weiss, and she is a professional psychotherapist. Laurie will address the impact of the pandemic on us personally. 11 years ago, after over 40 years practicing psychotherapy, Dr. Laurie Weiss had no intention of starting a new phase of her career. Then a colleague helped her resolve a persistent, stressful problem using an amazing new technique, taking just a few minutes and using only words. As an internationally known psychotherapist, coach, and consultant, she has helped over 60,000 people reclaim life energy and find joy in life. She has taught professionals in 13 countries and authored 13 books. Her Rapid Relief with Logosynthesis series reflects her expertise in the rapid anxiety and stress relief process she first encountered that fateful night. I am all ears, Laura, and I'm going to turn it over to you. Laurie, are you there? Laurie, we can see your picture, but we don't hear any sound, so you may have to unmute. Laurie, can you hear us? Have you unmuted? You have a line through the mute. If you click on that in your bottom left-hand corner. Laurie, would you say something to see if we can hear you? Kathy or Carolyn or Susan, do you have any recommendations?
The only recommendation I have is that she check on her computer and see if the volume is turned down on her computer or muted on her computer.
Good suggestion. Do you see the volume up at the top and slide it over? While we're waiting for Laurie to be able to get in with us, I think I will just take a few minutes to say thank you to all of you for participating. Our presenters have been outstanding. We have certainly gone through our 3 parts for really looking at diversity and equity and inclusion. I think we all hear a lot about DEI, and I think this morning has really helped us better understand what each of those words mean and how each of them can be used in helping us as a branch and us as a state work towards opening up to many of these concepts. I also want to do a special thank you to Susan Brody and Diane Fuchs as program. They are our state program development VPs, and this has been an outstanding program and so informative for our audience and for each other. It's just been wonderful in that way. It has been recommended that maybe Laurie would go on her phone instead of the computer. Aha, we hear something. Hi,
Okay.
Laurie.
Hello.
All right, you're on.
Very sorry.
No
what has
problem. I'm going to just turn it over to you. Thank you very much, Dr. Laurie Weiss. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And I am now having to do exactly what I want to talk about because I was incredibly stressed about what do I do now? Okay. Am I on the screen? I can only see myself.
You are full screen. You are on. You're fine.
Okay, something on my computer is not working the way it should, but here I am. One of the things that I wanted to start with, and the topic of this is turning your world around after the pandemic, embracing abundance. And we've all been through a very traumatic year. And many of us are saying, well, it wasn't so bad. I managed it okay. Things are going on, and then things are happening. And we're not particularly talking about what it's like now. And so I've been wanting to talk about that. We've been called upon to do a bunch of things. And one of the things to do is be active. But I'm thinking about the object of put on your oxygen mask first, that we really need to do that. And so let's talk about where we've been, where we're going, and some ideas I have about how to get there. We learned, well, we were feeling perfectly safe a year ago, or a year and a whatever it was. And then we have been taught that everything is dangerous. We learned to be terrified. We learned, and most of us are older, we learned that going grocery shopping can threaten our lives, that hugging people we love, touching anyone, touching anything, even breathing each other's air is dangerous. And we learned that things are scarce. I mean, we started with toilet paper. And then all of our experiences, we've been going to the grocery store for most of our lives and we could buy anything we wanted. And then we couldn't. And so we have a very different sense of the world than we had 2 years ago. And in response to that, we may be experiencing other things. We may have experienced symptoms of PTSD that nobody was talking about very much. We may have experienced sleep disturbances, flashbacks, concentration problems, nightmares. Lots of us have felt isolated. We've been feeling irritable. And in some cases, we've been feeling guilty because we're the lucky ones. We know that many people have experienced all kinds of losses, and that those losses are extreme compared to what we've lost. But we have lost things, and we need to be aware of that and respond to it so that we can move on. Some of the things we've lost are celebrations. We haven't been able to go to family celebrations. They've been there, and they haven't been there. They've been canceled entirely. We've lost trips. My husband and I were going to take our 60th wedding anniversary trip. We couldn't do that. We've lost the sense of safety and security. So what is going to happen, we're not sure. We know it's something different. We know it's not going to be the way it was. And we have to deal with that. Now that we're vaccinated, we have, we're feeling like, oh, I'm safe, but I'm not. What's wrong? Why can't I go do these things? I've been looking at the newspaper in preparation for this talk, and I found some very interesting headlines on the front page of the New York Times and the Washington Post, and some other places too. One is 6 sneaky ways pandemic trauma may pop up as things go back to normal, whatever normal is. What to know about so-called post-pandemic stress disorder. And in the Denver Post, dear Amy, I'm feeling anxious about the return to pre-pandemic normality. And then, can we learn to live with germs again? And the pandemic has shrunk our social circles. Let's keep it that way. And then there's a whole new problem, because we have forgotten how to do lots of things that we're very comfortable doing in the past. One thing is we've forgotten how to wear clothes in public. We've been wearing casual things for so long, we've forgotten how to dress up. We have learned to be afraid of people. And so even if we're vaccinated and we're safe, we'll find ourselves recoiling when a stranger gets close to us in the grocery store. I found that packing for a trip was extraordinarily difficult, and I used to pack for a trip almost every month. Eating inside a restaurant, inside with other people, can be frightening at first. So we have to learn all kinds of things, and I, for one, haven't yet learned how to get back on an airplane. We have to face questions that we never had before. Questions like, is it okay to have a meal in a friend's house? Who can I hug now? Is that okay? What should I wear? What are the new rules? And other things are like, we've liked some of this. We've liked having more time and less pressure. People who commute have liked, in some cases, not having to commute, not having to allow travel time to events, and buying fewer things. We've liked those things. Can we keep them, or is the social pressure going to come back on us? What should we do now? Well, the question is, what can we keep, and what do we have to give up? And how can we set different boundaries? And it's not that easy to make the switch. So the first thing I want to say about that is it's all okay. Any symptoms, any reaction, anything that you're having, somebody else is having too, it's okay. You may feel like you're isolated. One of the things you can do that will really help is talking to other people about it. It's time now to ask some important questions, which is, and this is how to get there. what's really important to me now. And it may be very different than it was. So taking time to do that. There's an exercise in a book that I'm going to tell you about a little later that will give you a way to do that. What's holding me back from living differently now? And a lot of it is these learned fears that we need to let go of. But it's not that easy to let go of things. I know, because people say, well, just let go of it. You don't need that anymore. Well, I needed it, and it was a survival mechanism. And now there's a part of my brain that says, I'm going to keep that. The other thing is that we have things to grieve. We have lost things. And we haven't taken the time to grieve, or we haven't been with other people to grieve. And it's really hard to deal with. The thing that it does is it ties up our energy. So one of the thing that was in my bio is that I've learned a new process that absolutely astounded me when I learned it. After 40 years as a psychotherapist, and as a coach, and as a management consultant, and as a world traveler, and all kinds of things, I thought I was at the top of my game. I thought I knew how to do things. I thought I knew how to help people. And then I learned this, and it was so exciting that I didn't retire. At that time, I was 70, so you can figure it out. I didn't retire then. What I did was I moved on, and I learned things. And one of the things I learned, and of course I knew mostly that our thoughts and feelings are in our way, and those are mostly things that we can change. One of the things that I had to learn to readjust is that I had written a book, one of my last book, and it was all ready to be released just as the lockdown came. The book is called Embrace Prosperity, Resolve Blocks to Experiencing Abundance. Well, last March, nobody cared about prosperity. We cared about survival. And so we were stressed to the max. And so I started doing other things. And now it's time that we are ready to re-engage with the world, that there is prosperity, there is abundance, and we need to be able to enjoy it, embrace it, and find it. So I want to tell you about the first thing that happened to me. It happened in a parking lot, and I had been in a very, very, very loud, disturbing restaurant in which I had been offered things to eat that I was told are not hot. And every time I took a bite, my body rejected them immediately, and I started coughing and I couldn't eat. And so at the end of the meal, I had not eaten anything except a few chips. And I had gone outside to calm myself down. And I did. I was quite comfortable. And then a friend came out, who happened to be a psychiatrist, and said, will you do something with me? And I said, sure. And he said, say these words, repeat them after me. And I went, okay, I'll do that. And I did. And I thought I was okay before, but I experienced this profound relaxation. And it was like, what did you do? And how can I learn how to do that too? So I know how. I would like to help you learn how to use this very special process that only takes a couple of minutes once you learn how to use it. And I'm going to do something with you all that may be a little strange because I'm not here to see your feedback. And so I will just do what I do and give you instructions and ask you to follow them. I'm going to ask you to think about one of the things that you need to let go of. And it may be that you need to go out, let go of the belief that strangers are dangerous. Or you may need to let go of the belief that you're in danger. Or you may need to let go of some experience you've had that you can't get out of your mind. Whatever it is, hold that in your mind for a minute and think about how distressing it is to you now on a scale of 1 to 10. Maybe 10 is the most distressing and 1 is you barely notice it. I'm going to ask you to repeat some words with me. And the words are pretty simple. They include the word I. And the I in this case is not the one that goes to the meetings and fixes things and knows how to make dinner. The I in this case is your higher self or your intuitive self or your connection to the universe. That's the part that knows how to take care of you the best. So don't try to write anything down. I'm going to give all this to you later. You'll have a link where you can download it, no problem. And start now. Just center yourself. You might want to close your eyes, you might not, it doesn't matter. And say, I retrieve all my energy. Repeat that out loud. I retrieve all my energy. Bound up in this belief and say out loud, bound up in this belief, your belief. And I take it to the right place in myself. That's the first sentence. There are 3. Now just breathe and notice anything that you think, feel, imagine. Some of you will have nothing at all happen, and some of you will have vivid experiences. And I can't tell from here. Okay. Next sentence. I remove all of the not me energy involved in this belief, whatever it is. So say out loud, I remove all of the not me energy involved in this belief, in your belief. From all of my cells, say from all of my cells, from all of my body and my personal space. Say from all of my body and my personal space. And I send it to where it truly belongs. Now take a couple of breaths and notice again how you are responding, how you are reacting to those words. You don't need to understand the words. Just relax and notice. The third sentence is, I retrieve all of my energy, bound up in all of my reactions. Now say that. I retrieve all of my energy, bound up in all of my reactions, to this belief that, say your belief. And I take it to the right place in myself. Again, take a deep breath and notice what happens. Now notice whether you feel any different than you felt when you started the process. For some of you, You will, for some of you, you won't, and that's perfectly okay. I went through this very quickly. The instructions that I can give you will allow you to go through it much more easily and much faster. Or, I'm sorry, much more slowly. Carolyn, will you put the slide up that has the information about how people can get the information? Thank you. 7 Steps to Reduce Worry Starting Now is a process on my website that is free. And all you have to do is go to laurieweiss.com, fill in the form, and you'll be taken right to the issue, right to the sentences that you'll be taken to the 7 steps. The 7th step, step number 7, has the sentences that I used. Steps number 1 through 6 will help you figure out what words to put in that blank my belief is. So I urge you to do it. The whole process, if you want to go through it all at once, takes you a little over an hour. If you want to do it in segments the way it's set up, I'll be sending you an email that says every day, go to which segment, what to do with it. And you can spend about 10 minutes a day and learn how to do that effectively. The last line on the slide is the name of the book that I showed you. That book has lots of instructions on how to use those sentences in many different situations that have to do with our experience of scarcity that we have been having for the last period of time, and that we've been taught to have for our whole lives, because we've been taught that there isn't enough, we have to fight for it, we have to work for it, things like that. And if we shift our experience, we can definitely experience abundance. In addition to that, in that book is a process that asks you to list things that you love to do. And I can't tell you exactly where, but it's in the book, and you can do the exercise and help you clarify just what it is that's important to you now. I'd be happy to answer any questions about this. And my website has all my books on it. So once you have gotten the 7 steps to reduce worry and gotten that link set up, then go explore the rest, but it'll help you figure out what to do. I think my time is up.